This is a world where money has no value. Here, time is everything. Here, if you want to buy something, you have to give some time from your life in exchange for that thing. Only then can you buy that thing. But to live a good life in this world, having time is also necessary. Because here, when a person's age reaches 25 years, a 1-year timer starts on that person's hand. The moment the countdown hits 0, that person is finished. The rich had so much time that they could live a life of 1,000 years. The rich had created a separate world for themselves where those people were living a peaceful life. But on the other hand, the poor people living in Ghetto City worked day and night to earn time for themselves. Otherwise, their life would end. In this slum of poor people lived a boy named Will, whose clock had only 23 hours left. Will lived with his mom, now because age stops after 25 years. That's why his mother, despite being 50 years old, looked very young. Today was Will's mother's 50th birthday. Will had brought a bottle of champagne by working overtime the previous night to celebrate his mom's birthday. Seeing this, Will's mom became very happy and she told Will that I want to see my grandchildren. Why don't you date some girl? To which Will replied, who has time for all these things? Will's mom told him that I have to clear the electricity bill and the loan taken from the bank by tomorrow's date. Otherwise, we might get fined. That's why I'm leaving now and will return by tomorrow night after depositing all the bills and bank loans. She said, I only have 3 days of time. Almost all my time will be spent in paying the electricity bill and bank loan. That's why tomorrow evening, you must wait for me at the bus stop so that before all my time runs out, I can take some time from you. To this Will said, okay, I'll reach on time. Before leaving, Will's mom touched Will's hand and transferred 30 minutes into his body so Will could buy and eat good breakfast. After this, both left for their respective work. On the way, a small girl came to Will. She gave Will a capsule and asked Will for some of his time. Will, smiling, gave that little girl 5 minutes of his life's time in the capsule, and she left. Here we learn that these people can also store their time in a capsule, which these people can use and transfer anytime. After this, Will reached a factory for work. Before starting work, he went to get coffee, but there he saw that the price of everything had doubled. Where earlier coffee cost 2 minutes, now its price had doubled to 4 minutes. Here, the price of anything can be increased at any time. Without any announcement, this thing bothered Will a lot. Out of compulsion, Will also paid 4 minutes of his life for coffee and got to work. After a day's work, at night Will went to a bar with his friend. Will's friend was a #1 drunkard. He remained intoxicated with alcohol all the time. Will's friend signaled to Will that that man is giving everyone free alcohol, and he has a lot of time. Hearing this, when Will looked toward that man, he was surrounded by girls from all sides. When Will's eyes fell on that man's watch, that man had 116 years of time. Seeing this, Will understood that this man is from Greenwich City because in Ghetto City, people have at most 2 days of time. Will came near that man and started warning him that you shouldn't have been here. There's danger of thieves here. These people will kill you and steal your time, so get out of here quickly. But that man didn't take Will's words seriously and ignored him and started drinking. Then a gangster named Fortis came to that bar with his group, seeing whom all the people ran out. Actually, these are the city's biggest goons who forcibly steal time from people. Will's friend grabbed Will and started taking him away. But Will refused to go and hid in a corner there and started watching everything. Fortis had come to rob all the time from that rich man. Fortis challenged that rich man. Let's arm wrestle and whoever loses will give all his time to the winner. This time fight was like arm wrestling in which 2 people had to hold each other's wrists. Whichever person's wrist went down, his time started decreasing and that time started transferring into the hand of that man whose wrist was up. In this way, the winning person would store all the time from that other man in his body and kill him. Fortis asked that man, "Are you ready for this?" To this, that rich man said that I've had too much to drink, so I need some time. After that, I'm ready for your challenge. Fortis said, okay, this is your last wish. Go, I'll give you a few minutes to get ready. Fortis also sent one of his men with him so he couldn't escape. That rich man came to the bathroom and started vomiting heavily because he was very drunk. So, if he arm wrestled with Fortis in this condition, this rich man's defeat was confirmed. Then Will came there. He beat Fortis's man and took that rich man out of that place with him and brought him to a safe place, saving him from Fortis. Will told that rich man that I also told you that your life is in danger. Why are you deliberately wasting your time? That man told Will his name was Henry, and he asked Will, how old are you? Will said, 28 years. Henry said, I'm 105 years old, and now I'm tired of life. I've enjoyed everything in my life, and now I don't need this life. I don't want to live. Hearing this, Will asked in surprise, what exactly do you want to say? To this, Henry said, it seems you're still unaware of reality. Have you ever thought why different time zones have been created in this world? Why are prices and taxes increased at any time in your time zone, ghettos? Actually, inflation is deliberately increased so that poor people keep dying and the rich people of Greenwich time zone keep benefiting from their death. Actually, this entire system is created by them. Just think, they're in Greenwich time zone. People have thousands of years to live. But here in ghettos, you people work hard every day to live. This is because they've forced you to do this. Those people don't want to give you more time so that you people keep working for them out of compulsion. Those people increase inflation to force you to spend more and more time so that they can live forever with your time. They've collected every single day of their life from the deaths of the poor, and I absolutely don't want to live such a life that came from the death of some poor, helpless person. Hearing all this, Will understood that Henry was a very kind-hearted person. Henry asked Will further, "If you had as much time as me, what would you do?" Will said with a smile that first of all, I would stop looking at the time repeatedly because even at that time Will had only 18 hours. He kept looking at his watch all the time before sleeping, after sleeping, while eating because I'm afraid that my time might run out and I might die. Will said, "My mom works very hard to manage the house. If I had as much time as you, I would buy a good house for my mom in Greenwich City and we both would live there happily." After this, Will told Henry, "Tonight, we have to stay here. By morning, the danger will pass. Then you can return to your home." After this, both of them went to sleep. When Henry woke up in the morning, he saw that Will was still sleeping. He came near Will and transferred all the time he had to Will, keeping only a few minutes for himself, and went and sat on top of a bridge. When Will woke from sleep, he saw that Henry had already left. Then, as always, after waking from sleep, Will glanced at his watch. 116 years had been added to Will's watch. Seeing this, his eyes remained wide open. He thought he was still sleeping and seeing a dream. During this time, Will's eyes fell on the window on which was written, "Don't waste my time." He understood that Henry has given me all his time. Then Will saw Henry sitting at the edge of a bridge in the distance. Will quickly ran toward Henry, but it was too late now because Henry had only a few seconds left, and after a while, he died with a jerk and fell from the bridge into the water below. Will felt very sad about Henry's death. Now Will had 116 years of life, and he understood that if I stayed here, people would think I killed Henry. Will quickly went to his friend. Will's friend was shocked, seeing so much time on Will's hand. After which Will gave his friend 10 years of time for the sake of friendship. Seeing this, Will's friend thanked him from his heart. Will said, "Staying here is not right for me now, because seeing so much time, anyone can kill me to snatch my time. Now I can buy a good house for my mother in Greenwich City, and will live a safe life there." After which Will said goodbye to his friend and left from there and went straight to that bus stop and started waiting for Mom. Where 2 days ago his mom had told him that I'll reach this bus stop after paying the electricity bill and bank loan. On the other hand, after paying all the loans and bills, Will's mom boarded the bus to return home, but then she found out that the bus ticket price had doubled in just 1 day, where earlier the ticket cost 1 hour. Now the price had become 2 hours. Seeing this, Will's mom became very worried because Will's mom had only 1.5 hours left. Will's mom requested the bus driver that at the next stop her son would give him the remaining time, but the bus driver clearly refused and said, "If you don't have time, then walk." But Will's mom knew that the next bus stop was very far. Even if she walked, it would take her 2 hours to reach. At that time, there were lots of passengers on the bus. Will's mom also requested them, but no one helped her. In the meantime, the bus left from there. Will's mom, Rachel, didn't have much time left, so she ran on foot toward home. On the other side, Will was waiting for his mom at the bus stop with a bouquet of flowers, because today he had to celebrate his mom's birthday. When the bus reached that stop, several passengers got off, but Will's mom wasn't among them. Seeing this, Will got worried and he understood that surely his mom was in trouble. He ran that very moment in search of his mom. On that side, Rachel had only a few minutes left. She was banging on the doors of cars and people's houses coming on the road, asking them for some time on loan, but no one was ready to help her. Here, when Will went some distance, he saw his mom running. Seeing his mom running, Will understood that she didn't have much time. He put his hand forward and started running quickly toward her. On that side, Rachel had only 10 seconds left. She too was running at full speed toward Will, but as soon as Rachel reached near her son Will, her time ran out and she died. Seeing this, Will felt very sad because he had thought so much for his mom. He started crying out loud. By the next morning, Henry's dead body was found by the timekeepers. These timekeepers investigated there. In today's world, there were timekeepers who were like police. The job of these timekeepers was also to stop crime. Timekeepers officer Raymond investigated that place thoroughly, but he didn't get any clue. Then Raymond's eyes fell on the CCTV camera installed near that bridge. He set out for the CCTV room to check the CCTV footage. On the other side, Will understood that the rich people living in Greenwich were responsible for his mom's death, who had made the people of Ghetto City dependent on every single second. Now Will set out toward Greenwich to take revenge on them, and from here starts the real story. To enter Greenwich City, Will had to spend 1 year of time and reached Greenwich City. When Will saw the lifestyle of rich people there, his eyes remained wide open. People there had so much time that those people had even forgotten about dying. Here, even the bodyguard of rich people had more than 100 years of time. Seeing this, Will became red with anger because in the city Will came from, people had only 24 hours of life. Will stayed in an expensive hotel there. While eating, a very beautiful girl looked at Will, as if she liked Will. On the other side, timekeeper Raymond was checking the CCTV footage from the time of Henry's death. Then he saw Will in the footage. Although the camera hadn't recorded Henry falling from the bridge, in that footage, Will was visible standing near the bridge, which made Raymond suspicious of Will. So Raymond asked his team to gather information about Will. During research, the timekeepers found out that a man named Will had entered Greenwich City by spending a lot of time, from which Raymond confirmed that Will killed Henry. Raymond immediately set out with his team toward Greenwich City. On the other side, in Greenwich City, Will came to a casino where some rich people were playing poker. Will also sat with them. Seeing a new man, these people started laughing at him, but Will was expert in gambling. Today was the best opportunity for him to extract money from the rich. Will played a poker bet with a rich man named Philip. Philip is the richest person here. He has his own time bank that gives time to people on loan. Philip's daughter was also sitting with him. This is the same girl who was observing Will carefully a while ago. When the game started, Will bet all the time of his life, and with his mind, he won 1100 years from Philip. Seeing this, Philip's daughter Sylvia became very impressed with Will. She invited Will to the party at her house tomorrow night. Then the next evening, Will bought a brand new car and reached Philip's party. There during the party, Will and Sylvia started dancing, and Sylvia gave her heart to Will. She was about to tell Will what was in her heart when timekeeper Raymond reached there with his team and caught Will. Considering Will a murderer, Sylvia also became angry with him. Raymond first snatched all of Will's time from him and gave only 2 hours. After that, he started arresting Will for Henry's murder. Raymond asked, "Will, why did you kill Henry?" Will told him, "I didn't kill him. Rather, he himself didn't want to live. That's why he gave me 116 years, and later he took his own life." But Raymond didn't believe Will's words. Will understood that Raymond would trap me in Henry's false case and put me in jail for life. So taking the opportunity, he beat Raymond's men and freed himself and taken their gun, took Sylvia hostage. Making Sylvia a shield, Will took her with him and escaped, giving Raymond and his men the slip, and reached back to Ghetto City. During this time, Will had very little time left. He asked Sylvia for some time on loan, but Sylvia refused to give him even a second, because she too considered him Henry's murderer. So he drove the car faster toward Ghetto City, so that after reaching there, he could borrow time from someone. In his hurry, his attention didn't fall on the barbed wires laid on the road ahead. On hitting them, Will's car fell down from the bridge. In this accident, Will and Sylvia became unconscious. Actually, those thorns on the road were laid by Fortis and his gang. Fortis saw that Sylvia had 10 years of time. He stole all of Sylvia's time and left from there. In the meantime, Will and Sylvia regained consciousness. When Sylvia looked at her hand, she was worried because she had only 30 minutes left, and Will also had only a few minutes left. But still he gave Sylvia his few minutes, which made both their times equal. After this, Will quickly took Sylvia to his friend's house to whom he had given 10 years. When his friend's wife opened the door and saw Will, she expressed anger toward Will, saying, "Your 10 years that you gave took my husband's life. He wasted all the time on alcohol, which caused his death." Hearing this, Will became depressed. But now these two also didn't have much time. If these two didn't do something quickly, their death was certain. Then Will saw diamond earrings in Sylvia's ears. By selling them, Will and Sylvia got 2 days of time. After this, Will brought Sylvia to the phone booth. He called Sylvia's father, Philip, and told him his daughter is safe until now. At that time, Raymond was also present with Philip, and Will also knew Raymond was there. Will demanded 10,000 years of time in exchange for releasing Sylvia and said to distribute those 10,000 years through the time bank among poor people and gave time till tomorrow morning. Although for Philip this amount was nothing. But Philip didn't want to give time to the poor at any cost. Here Will brought Sylvia to his house, where both were waiting for morning. During this time, Sylvia asked, "Will, where is his family?" To this Will told that just last night, my mother died due to not having time. Hearing this, Sylvia felt very bad, and she realized that here, poor people live in fear of death every moment. How much hard work they have to do to earn one day's time. The next morning, as soon as the bank opened, Will and Sylvia started keeping an eye on the bank from the window. But the bank didn't distribute time among the poor. Seeing this, Sylvia became very depressed, that even her own daughter had no value for her father compared to time. Now, Sylvia understood that her father is not just a businessman, but he is the head of this system. He collects years of his life from the deaths of poor people. Seeing Sylvia so depressed, Will decided to send her back home. He brought her to the phone booth and told her to call her father and ask for help. During this time, Will also gave Sylvia a weapon so she could protect herself. Here Sylvia was talking to her father on the phone when timekeeper Raymond quietly reached there and pointed a gun at Will. Raymond was about to shoot. Will and Sylvia saw Raymond and in panic fired at Raymond. Seeing this, Will panicked and came near Raymond, although that bullet had grazed Raymond's hand and passed. A lot of blood was coming out of Raymond's hand. Will looked at Raymond's watch. Raymond had only 2 hours left. Actually, timekeepers also got only 1 day's time as salary every day. Will understood that by the time Raymond's team members reached him, Raymond would have died due to excessive blood loss. So Will, while giving Raymond 2 hours of time, took Raymond's car and left from there. After shooting Raymond, Sylvia had also come into the crime list. Although Will told Sylvia that she could still get out of all this. But in Greenwich, Sylvia's life was like a caged bird. Her father Philip had put a lot of restrictions on her. But coming here, she was feeling freedom because here, she was master of her own will, and Sylvia understood that wrong is being done to people here. Now she too was with Will in giving the poor their rights. Will and Sylvia together started robbing the rich. Sylvia, who was familiar with every nook and corner of Greenwich City. So these two planned that they would steal time capsules from banks in Greenwich City and distribute them among the poor. Sylvia first raided several banks of her father Philip because Philip had collected all that time from the deaths of the poor. These two packed all the time capsules from the vault in a bag and left from there and started distributing them among the poor. After committing such a big theft, now the government was also fed up with these two. That's why the government put a reward of 10 years of time on both their heads. As soon as he heard this news, gangster Fortis started looking for these two, like a dog. But Will and Sylvia kept changing their location every day, due to which they didn't fall into anyone's hands. These two were hiding in a hotel. They didn't have a shortage of time, so they had booked the entire hotel. Fortis reached outside that hotel in search of these two. There he caught some people and started asking them about Will and Sylvia. But those people were very indebted to Will and Sylvia. So these people were ready to die, but they weren't ready to reveal Will and Sylvia's whereabouts. But when Fortis put a lot of pressure on those people, one of them, out of fear of death, told Fortis about that hotel where Will and Sylvia were hiding. After which, Fortis immediately reached there with his gang and caught both of them. Now it was impossible for Will and Sylvia to escape from them. Fortis made Will sit on a table and challenged him to a time fight. Will understood that if I refused the challenge, Fortis's gang members would kill me. So why not try my hand against him today? Fortis and Will held each other's wrists and the game of death began. Fortis was an expert player. He put Will's hand down right at the start, from which Will's time started transferring rapidly to Fortis. But Will wasn't exerting force at all, as if he was deliberately losing. But as soon as Will had 3 to 4 seconds of his life left, Will showed his power, and with one jerk brought Fortis's hand down. Fortis's eyes remained wide open. He was trying with full force to bring his hand up. But before the strength of Will, he had become weak. Seeing this, Fortis's men's attention got stuck on Fortis's watch. Now their boss was about to die. In the meantime, getting the opportunity, Will took out a gun from his shoe and in the blink of an eye shot all of Fortis's men, because if he didn't do this, those people would have killed him. With this, Fortis's time became 0 and he was also killed. Will and Sylvia quickly escaped from there. During this time they saw that the rich had turned the whole game around. Whatever time Will and Sylvia had distributed among the poor had no value now, because the rich had increased the inflation rate many times. Seeing this, Will started feeling defeated, and he felt that I could never give these poor people their rights. He told Sylvia that now everything is over. Even if they distribute thousands of years among people, rich people will increase inflation even more, due to which people's condition will never improve. Sylvia said, there must be some way. To this Will said we have to steal lakhs of years and give them to these people. Only then can we control inflation. Although this wasn't so easy, but Sylvia had thought of a plan for this. The very next morning, when Philip reached his office with his bodyguards, Sylvia came there and told her father that she wants to surrender. Then all the guards pointed guns at Sylvia. But then, from behind, Will, hidden in guard's disguise, reached there. He put a gun on Philip's head and through him got the locker door opened. Will and Sylvia stole a time capsule from Philip's locker, which had 10 lakh years of time. Every year of this time capsule had come from the deaths of the poor. Will and Sylvia ran away with that time capsule. Here, when Raymond found out about this, he immediately went after Will and Sylvia. When Raymond looked at the watch on his hand, he had less than 1 hour of time left. He called headquarters and said, send me my salary capsule. I have less time. But before he could transfer time from the capsule to his body, he saw Will's car, and without transferring time from the capsule to his body, he went after them. Because, if those 10 lakh years reached the poor, then every person of Ghetto Time Zone would become immortal and the entire system created by the rich would be destroyed. Raymond put his entire heart and soul into catching Will and Sylvia, but he couldn't stop them. Will and Sylvia gave Raymond the slip and came to Ghetto City and handed that time capsule into the hands of a girl. They knew Raymond would reach Ghetto City straight after us. So they left this place and went to a deserted place. On that side, they had distributed lakhs of years among the people of Ghetto City, making them immortal. But these two themselves had very little time left. Unluckily, at that very moment, Raymond caught them. Raymond, threatening Will, said, "If your life is dear to you, then return all the stolen time." Then Will showed him his watch time. Will and Sylvia had only a few minutes left. Will told Raymond, "Have you forgotten somewhere? Remember, when you were about to die, I gave you some time on loan. You should return the time to me." Hearing this, Raymond remembered that in the hurry to catch Will and Sylvia, he hadn't paid attention to his time. When he glanced at his watch, he had only 5 seconds left, which became 0 in no time, and Raymond died. Will and Sylvia had escaped from Raymond, but these two also had only 1 minute each left. On top of that, in that deserted area, there was no one to help them. They could clearly see their death. These two hugged each other in despair, and then Will saw Raymond's car. Will ran toward the car, and reaching there, he transferred Raymond's salary time into his watch. After this, he started running toward Sylvia to give her time to. Sylvia was also running quickly toward Will. Sylvia had only a few seconds left. This was exactly the same kind of moment like when Will had lost his mom. Will had lost his mom but didn't want to lose Sylvia. Will was very close to Sylvia, but then Sylvia fell into Will's arms. Luckily, Will had held Sylvia's hand at the right time, due to which her life was saved. Thanks to Will and Sylvia, now all the people of Ghetto City had become immortal. Now, they didn't need to work in factories to earn 1 hour. They all set out toward Greenwich City to fulfill their dreams, due to which the entire system created by the rich failed. And with this story ends.